Ever feel like you're doing this teaching thing alone? You don't have to be. Shared teaching is all about sharing the workload through the power of collaboration and teamwork. Together, we'll walk through all the difficult parts of teaching and learn how to streamline our processes, fine-tune our time management, and develop a more manageable workload. If that sounds like a dream come true to you, then welcome to the Shared Teaching Podcast. Let's share in the teaching to make those dreams a reality. Now here's today's Shared Teaching. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Shared Teaching Podcast. I'm your host, Susan, and you are listening to episode 131 on Writing Tip Wednesday, where we're going to decide whether we're going to use notebooks or folders for our writer's workshop. Okay, so let's go ahead and just dive right in and have this little debate, shall we? So you can use a combination, notebooks and folders. I did that a couple of years ago. You can use just notebooks and you can use just folders. The choice is really up to you. It's how you feel organized, how you can feel you're going to teach your students to be organized. So I'm going to give you a couple pros and cons. So let's start off with notebooks. Okay, the pros for notebooks are you can keep all the pieces of work together, and you can kind of make a snapshot of the whole year using a notebook. And I prefer to use a composition notebook simply because the pages don't tear out very easily. So they're going to be able to keep those all together in one spot. Now, a downside of using the notebook is also the fact that it's the entire year's work in that notebook, especially if it has a lot of pages. And if you're teaching younger students, they tend to thumb through a lot of the pages and they skip pages. So they're not doing one page at a time. It's a little bit harder for them to write sometimes with that edge in the notebook. So those are just some things to consider. Also, if you want to have kind of a clean slate like I do at the end of each main unit, then I clean out their folders and I don't have any remaining work that needs to be done that's going to get carried over into the next unit. You can't really do that with notebooks unless you change the notebooks out, and then that can get expensive if you're going to have 3 notebooks for each student for the whole year. Okay, so let's talk then about folders. So folders, the pro is that once again, you can take the papers out and have a clean slate at the end of each unit. You can have 2 sides of the folder. One is things they're currently working on. One is things that they're finished with, so that when it comes time to publishing, they're just looking in the finished pocket. So that's a good way to keep it organized. With folders, if you get the 3-pronged ones, you can have a little mini word wall or a sight word, some kind of helper for them, tools that are ready for them right at their desk that they can use and refer to that are just stuck inside their writing folder in page protectors. The con then is younger students, especially kindergarten and first grade, will tend to pull these folders out of their desks upside down, and then it's a huge mess all over the floor. That can happen quite often. Also, students don't really know how to use the pockets correctly, and then the writing gets folded in half kind of inside the pocket. So it can be really messy that way as well. And things go missing, right? Especially since you don't have a way to keep it bound together. But I personally used 2 years ago, I used a notebook and a folder. So our school provided these really, really thin composition notebooks. And I loved them because they were so thin. It was really easy to put inside the folder pocket. And then I also had tabs. And my tabs are very durable because you can fold them in half, and then it's a thickness of the 2 sheets of paper together, and it lasted all year. So it was really easy to put the tabs. They knew there was a brainstorming section, and then there was the actual writing section in their folders, their notebooks. And so it was really easy for them to flip through and find the right pages. And I do have that product on TPT, which I'll link in the show notes. And I just liked the ability to have these thin notebooks that I could trade out then once I was finished with the unit. and also that were not so big and cumbersome as the traditional size composition books that are a little bit thicker that kids sometimes have trouble writing in the margins of. And I also sometimes gave them just loose leaf paper, especially when it came to like writing out what they were going to publish. Then they had loose leaf paper that was really easy to like edit and revise and take to a friend, having the loose leaf, and then the folder gave them a place to put it all. So they kept their notebooks inside the folder, and they also kept the loose leaf papers inside the folder. Now, if you're interested in having it all done for you, I do have some writing units. My opinion writing is in my store now. Personal narrative / fictional narrative is coming out soon. And then I also have expository writing. All of those I'm hoping to have out really soon, so people can purchase them and have them ready for the year. But it does have worksheets that go with it. So if you're using folders, you can easily put those worksheets in the folder. And when you're done with that section of lessons, you can always send them home so they don't have to stay in the folder the whole time. So there you go. Decide if you're going to use notebooks or folders. And then if you want, leave me a message and let me know which you liked best. Bye for now. If you've loved this show, then join me in sharing the teaching,
hitting that subscribe button,
and leaving us a review on
iTunes,
so we can be found by more teachers like you who are ready to start sharing the workload. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Find new episodes each week on sharedteaching.com. Thanks for listening to the Shared Teaching Podcast.